April 11th and 12th, 1994. In just 48 hours, tens of thousands of Tutsi would be hunted down and murdered across Rwanda. In schools, parishes, homes, and along the roads and rivers that once held ordinary life. From Kigali city to Byumba, from Cyangugu to Kibungo and Gitarama, the machinery of genocide accelerated. Peacekeepers withdrew. Churches became traps. Political speeches over the radio turned neighbors into executioners. For decades, the official technical school of Kigali, ETO, run by the Salesian Fathers, had been a place of refuge for Tutsi. In 1963, and again in times of fear, they knew these grounds as a sanctuary. When the genocide began in April 1994, Tutsi again fled to ATO. On April 8th, they poured into the compound, placing their hope in the blue helmets of a UNAMIR detachment stationed on site. On April 11th, 1994, the unthinkable happened. UNAMIR peacekeepers pulled out. Colonel Leonidas Rusatira mobilized soldiers to block any escape route toward the CND, the parliament, where RPF forces might have protected them. From the area near Sonotubes, along the road to Nyanza and Kichukiro, Tutsi were separated out and killed in stages. Those who reached Nyanza were attacked with grenades. Interahamwe moved among the fallen, stripping bodies and finishing off anyone still breathing. April 11th, 1994. For those at ETO and Nyanza, the promise of protection ended in mass murder. In northern Rwanda, in the Diocese of Byumba, another church became a trap. From April 7th to 10th, 1994, Tutsi from surrounding hills sought shelter at Kiziguro Parish. They were told the church would protect them. In reality, they were being concentrated, prepared for extermination. On April 11th, 1994, between 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, the killing began. Interahamwe, mobilized by former Burgmeister Jean-Baptiste Gattet and his allies, Rwabukombe Onesphore, mayor of Muvumba, and many others including Mwange Jean de Dieu, Sibomana Martin, businessman Nkunda Bazungu Augustine, Murambi Brigadier Nyonzima Deogratias, policeman Munyakazi, businessman Mbuguje Jean Damascene, and numerous accomplices attacked the refugees. Soldiers from Gabiro military camp, sent by Major Leonard Nkundiye, former commander of the Presidential Guard, oversaw the operation. Victims were killed in the courtyard, by the water tanks, in the garden, at the dispensary, by a statue of the Virgin Mary, and behind the parish wall, where a small wood offered false hope of escape. For those who came to Kiziguro seeking sanctuary, the parish grounds became their final resting place. In Cyangugu, churches that once echoed with hymns now hold the memory of unimaginable betrayal. At ADPR Shagasha, many Tutsi women and children took refuge on April 11th, 1994. The men stayed away, fearing they would be the first to be killed if they entered. Interahamwe came repeatedly, searching for boys. To save them, some mothers dressed their sons in girls' clothing, hoping the killers wouldn't notice. Men captured in Shagasha, Munyove, and Rawahi sectors were also brought here, to be killed on church grounds. In the former Gisuma commune, Ruharambuga sector, Gihinga cell, today Save Cell in Nyamasheke district, around 50 Tutsi were gathered in the home of Mukandagara Odette on April 11, 1994. They had been surrounded in the area, then forced into one house. No one left alive. Still in Cyangugu, in Nyamahunga sector, Kimpundu cell, over 1,000 Tutsi were rounded up by local Interahamwe. They had come there seeking safety since April 9th. as their numbers increased, so did their vulnerability. On April 11, 1994, in broad daylight, they were encircled by militias from nearby cells and communal police, led by sector councillor François Rougigo, who had earlier pretended the authorities were there to protect them. At Hanika Parish, today in Nyamasheke District, Makuba sector, nearly 15,000 Tutsi gathered on parish grounds. They slept in priests' houses, the health centre and the nutritional centre, believing the church would shield them. On April 11, 1994, Bourgmestre Rugwizangoga Fabien of Gatare Commune arrived at Hanika around noon after meeting Prefect Emmanuel Bagambiki. When he left, the killers moved in. Among the Interahamwe was a man called Alphonse, nicknamed Rasta, the son of a soldier named Pasteur. He threw grenades at Tutsi like Ngoboka Xavier and Gasheme, an employee of businessman Gatera Fabien. Others included Hatungaramye Joseph, Hanyurwa Valens, Nkerabahizi Oscar, Michel Bahimaya, Mukono, and a trader from Kirambo who supplied beer to keep the killers' morale high. Among the killers was also a woman named Margarita, a former local councillor known for having Tutsi arrested on false accusations of being Inkotanyi collaborators. In Midiho, Nyagatovu Cell, Mukarange sector in Kayonza, more than 200 Tutsi sought refuge in the EAR Nyagatovu church. On April 11, 1994, they were massacred, led by a Kayonza merchant named Thomas Kanyengoga. To this day, the bodies of those killed at Nyagatovu have not been found, denying families even the dignity of a proper burial. As massacres raged on the ground, political leaders and broadcasters gave them a national script. From April 7th onward, political leaders used radio to mobilise the Hutu population. On the morning of April 12th, MDR power figure Frodoald Karamira addressed the nation on Radio Rwanda. It was a call for unity, not for peace, but for coordinated genocide. He urged MDR power supporters to put aside differences with MRND and CDR extremists and join in hunting Tutsi. This message echoed the Hutu power speech he had given in October 1993, now amplified across the country. That same day, Radio Rwanda broadcast a communiqué from the Ministry of Defence. It dismissed lies about divisions in the army or among Hutu and declared that soldiers, gendarmes, and all Rwandans were united against a single enemy. The same enemy, it claimed, who had always tried to bring back the monarchy, were told to patrol, act together, and fight the enemy. On April 12, 1994, the genocidal government left Kigali and relocated to Gitarama. From there, it continued to coordinate extermination in every prefecture, issuing orders, moving weapons, and praising those carrying out the killings. That same day, General Romeo Dallaire learned from his observers that massacres were intensifying in Gisenyi and Kibungo. In Kigali, prisoners were forced to load corpses into dumpsters, trucks from the Ministry of Public Works, and dump them into machine-dug trenches. These vehicles came from the Roads and Bridges Service, Minitrapa, overseen by Ntirivamunda Alphonse, President Habyarimana's son-in-law, who later fled to Belgium. In Bonn, Germany, Belgian Foreign Minister Willy Klaas told UN Secretary-General Boutros Boutros-Ghali that UNAMIR had become useless and was in danger, citing an anti-Belgian climate. He proposed suspending and withdrawing the mission. Boutros-Ghali agreed. While leaders debated abroad, unimaginable cruelty unfolded in villages like Nyawera and Mukarange in Kayonza district. Interahamwe killed a pregnant woman named Murebwaira by cutting open her abdomen, removing her unborn child, and burning them in front of witnesses. Tutsi had begun gathering at Mukarange Catholic Parish between April 7th and 9th, 1994, defending themselves with stones and bricks. But militias were backed by gendarmes and soldiers. On April 12th, Bourgmestre Celestin Senkware, supported by soldiers, gendarmes and militias, launched a final assault on the presbytery. Parish priest Joseph Guattari, also director of the local secondary school, was beaten so severely that he later died. The Hutu vicar, Father Jean Bosco Munyaneza, tried to protect his colleague and the Tutsi they were sheltering. He was shot dead on the spot, followed by a mass killing of those inside. The network of killers included the Bourgmestre and a web of local elites: businessmen, teachers, inspectors, police officers, reservists, and even the health centre director, who supplied an ambulance to transport militias to killing sites. In Nyabitekeri sector, at the former Mukoma sector office, Tutsi men were ordered to attend a security meeting on April 12, 1994. They left home at 8 in the morning, while women and children were told to seek shelter at the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Families had already been spending nights there since April 10th, hoping the church walls could shield them.
They soon realized there was no meeting, only an ambush. Sector Councillor Joseph Kanyarurembo ordered them into the building and locked the doors. The killers tried to burn it with gasoline. When that failed, Kanyarurembo instructed reservists. They soon realized there was no meeting, only an ambush. Sector Councillor Joseph Kanyarurembo ordered them into the building and locked the doors. The killers tried to burn it with gasoline. When that failed, Kanyarurembo instructed reservist Theodore Torero to throw grenades inside. He threw 2. When the doors were opened, those who tried to escape were cut down, and the wounded were finished off. More than 400 Tutsi men were killed.
On the road from Kinini to Ngoma Primary School in Bushikeri sector, Nyamasheke, a roadblock and a 15-meter deep stone quarry, became sites of horror. Under the orders of Prefect Emmanuel Bagambiki, Tutsi from the area, especially from Kashero Cell, were rounded up between April 12th and 18th, 1994. They were brought to this barrier and killed, then thrown into the quarry. Interahamwe, like Mazera, Ndaishimiye Emmanuel, Bazambanza, and their accomplices subjected victims to torture that defies words. Men had their genitals and arms cut off, some had their eyes gouged out. Women were raped. Children were torn from their mothers and thrown alive into the pit, their screams echoing day and night. Ruwamatamu commune in Kibuye Prefecture was home to many Tutsi landowners who had suffered previous waves of violence since 1959. In 1994, Bourgmestre Abel Ferreri led the commune. On April 12, 1994, a meeting at the commune office brought together councillors, Hutu officials, prominent traders, and Interahamwe leaders. Afterward, councillors reassured Tutsi refugees that peace had returned, urging them to go home. Shortly after the killings began, a vehicle carrying soldiers in Interahamwe, led by businessman Ruzindana Obed from Muganero, arrived. He had previously sabotaged the commune's phone lines to prevent calls for help. Despite some resistance, more than 250 Tutsi were killed that day, including many women and children who had sought refuge at Kibingo Parish and in the commune compound. Ruzindana would later be convicted of genocide and sentenced to 25 years. In Biharabuge village, Rugarika sector, Kamonyi district, a planned massacre unfolded under Bourgmestre Sixbert Ndayambaje of Runda commune and local elites. On April 12, 1994, militiamen were transported in traders' vehicles, including one owned by businessman Shirangabo. Tutsi were gathered at the center of Biharabuge. Once all were assembled, the killers attacked with clubs, stones, machetes, hoes, and swords from early afternoon until evening. More than 1,000 Tutsi were killed. Their clothes were stripped off and their bodies, some still alive, were loaded onto a vehicle and dumped into a cattle watering pond called Shayabarisa. On the same day, many Tutsi from Runda, who had sought shelter at Kigesi Health Center, were led in groups to the Nyabarongo River. At a place called Ruramba, a notorious killing site, they were humiliated, beaten, and stripped. Men, elders, women, and children were forced to walk long distances along the riverbank, naked and assaulted. Some were thrown alive into the river. Others were stoned or cut apart on the banks, then pushed into the water. In Kabuga Kanyabikenke, Bumbogo sector, where the Karama sector office once stood, over 4,500 Tutsi were murdered. They had come from Bumbogo, Kanombe, Musave, Kimironko, and Ndera between April 10th and 11th, after being promised protection. From April 12th, Tutsi from Nkuzuzu and Gishaka were also brought there. As night fell, a gendarme named Emmanuel arrived on a motorcycle carrying grenades. A van driven by a militiaman named Thade pulled up, packed with machete-wielding killers, fresh from murdering Tutsi at Gishaka Church. The massacre began on the evening of April 12th and lasted into the morning of April 13, 1994. Notorious killers included Mutaganira, Augustine Muyaboke, Theophile Karangwa, and Rwabutogo. In Musenyi, Bugesera, long a zone of Tutsi persecution, the pattern was the same. After President Habyarimana's death, homes of Tutsi leaders were burned. Cellhead Karangwa pretended to protect Tutsi by inviting them to his home, but his true aim was to gather them for mass killing. On April 12, 1994, he called in the killers. More than 500 Tutsi were slaughtered. Some who tried to flee toward Nyamata died along the road. Almost 80 kilometers away, in Rurenga Cell, Ramera Sector, Muhura Commune, Byumba Prefecture, Bourgmestre Ndayishimiye led the massacre of local Tutsi. After the genocide, 252 bodies were recovered from a mass grave. A memorial stands there today, a reminder of lives cut short and a community destroyed. April 11th and 12th, 1994. Two dates among many, but together they show how quickly a country can become a graveyard when hatred is organized, when lies are broadcast, when the world turns away. From Kigali City to Byumba, from Cyangugu to Kibungo and Gitarama, Tutsi were abandoned, betrayed, hunted, and killed. But memorials now stand where there was once only death. Survivors tell their stories, and a new generation walks these hills determined that never again will be more than a slogan.